ever get used besides Empty the Warrants, and then 4 copies of Xanthan Swarm and Pyroblast to be able to beat the blue decks. So you see Anthony Bubb on the left. That's exactly what he's doing, and this is the actual fun police of Legacy. This is the thing that keeps the fair decks in check. And while Huey's deck isn't exactly fair, this deck is a little bit faster than it. So we'll see if Huey can keep up with it with his Sneak and Show deck.
Yeah, I mean, Charbelcher is one of those decks that can just win on turn 1. And if Huey doesn't have a Force of Will, as we're about to see, then there's not much that Huey can do. So it looks like he's going to actually need the Force of Will.
Yeah, you see Anthony moving in here right now. He plays a Lotus Petal, plays the Lion's Eye Diamond, then is going to play a Land Grant, where you have to reveal all the cards in your hand. If you have no lands, you get to search for one. Pretty nice to get that Taiga out of your deck. And he has a Goblin Charbelcher, Rite of Flame, looks like a Burning Wish, and a Tinderwall. So if Huey does have a Force of Will, he's going to be good to go. He's going to be perfectly fine, but if he doesn't, he is going to die right now. So welcome to Legacy, my friend.
Definitely the fun police right here.
Absolutely, absolutely. The deck is a little bit soft to Force of Will. 7 of the win conditions.
A little bit soft.
Hey, if you draw Empty the Warrens, you're fine.
Yeah.
8 of your win conditions are very bad against Force of Will, and 3 of them are perfectly fine.
Well, the thing is, though, Anthony still has a chance of fizzling, correct? I mean, there's still another land in his deck.
No, just one.
There's just one.
Just one Taiga, yeah. So there is no chance of fizzling if he plays Goblin Charbelcher.
Huey needs a Force of Will here, or that's it.
Force or bust. This is how Magic was meant to be played.
Oh, yes.
This right here.
It's exactly what Watsi was hoping for.
Absolutely. Turn 1s all around. It's either that or Broken Pillar of Flames. You choose.
I see a good point.
So here we go. Anthony's not going to stop now. Here comes the Taiga. He's going to tap that. There's your Tinderwall.
Tinderwall. And Huey probably just waits. Huey either forces the... Huey just forces the Charbelcher. Doesn't need to worry about anything else.
Yeah. There's your Rite of Flame. I see a show and tell him I don't know if he has a Force Will or not, but he's obviously going to make his opponent go through the motions here.
Yeah. Maybe
sacrifice the Lotus Petal, cast a Goblin Charbelcher.
Does he have it?
Huey?
Oh,
Huey, no! Dead ski. You can take a look at my deck if you want.
Oh.
Yeah, Huey said, all right, I'll get a little information here.
Huey's just grateful to be on camera, I think.
Yeah, definitely true. No bonfires from the turn over here. But he wants to get a little information on how the Charbelcher deck works because he doesn't play a ton of Legacy.
Yeah, if you're going to get a feature match, you definitely want to lose without even playing a land.
I agree.
And that's certainly something that
I'll keep my hand. I'll play first.
Yeah.
That's how it's meant to be done. So Anthony Bubb up a game. To me, this is just the most comforting feeling in the world. Just to ruin someone's day with Belcher. It feels great. It really does. Maybe I'm just a sick man, but it feels fantastic.
Well, that deck, yeah, sure. Usually one of the 3 games will result in one of those types of draws.
Yeah.
Let's see how 2 and 3 go.
We will. We will. And Huey's taking a look at his sideboard here. What's he got, Osip?
He's got 4 Leyline of Sanctities, which he can bring in, which obviously help out a lot. It's something they can do on turn 0, which should help stop the that kind of draw from Anthony, preventing himself from being targeted by the Charbelcher.
Yeah.
He has Leyline of the Void, which isn't coming in. Also has 2 copies of Echoing Truth and 3 copies of Red Elemental Blast, which I don't see coming through. He also has 2 Through the Breach, which is actually a kind of an interesting sideboard plan because there are certain decks that, like I said, they have ways to beat your show and tell by just putting an Angel of Despair or something like that into play, or a Gilded Drake or Caracas, and Through the Breach is sort of like your 5th and 6th sneak attack.
Yeah.
So it can sometimes just win you the game outright if you just draw one of those. And the other thing I think that William has to be worried about is if Anthony just plays a Lotus Bloom, Huey has to be worried about casting the Show and Tell on turn 2 just because he can put the Belcher into play and then activate it, correct?
Yeah.
Granted, he might miss because he wouldn't have a chance to cycle the land out perhaps. But yeah, it's definitely, Show and Tell could be dangerous depending on whether or not Anthony has a Lotus Lion's Eye Diamond in play. So, but in general, I think that Huey's just hoping to draw either Force of Will or Leyline Sanctity in his opening hand to basically give him enough time to win with the Show and Tell or Sneak Attack. And again, Anthony's deck, it can still get around those cards but it takes at least a couple of turns to actually draw those spells.
Yeah, I mean, Huey definitely has some options available to him. You see in Anthony's sideboard, he has 4 copies of Xantid Swarm, 4 copies of Pyroblast. If he wants to try to be able to beat cards like Force of Will, he can do that. He is incredibly soft to a Leyline of Sanctity, but again, 4 of the win conditions are Goblin Charbelchers, and 7 of them revolve around Empty the Warrens, with 4 copies of Burning Wish and 3 actual Empty the Warrens in the main deck. So, you know, the thing about the Belcher deck that's kind of interesting is that, you know, it is soft to Force of Will, but it does have, you know, 3 cards that let you be able to beat it. It's pretty soft to Leyline of Sanctity, but it actually has 7 cards that let you beat it in Burning Wish and Empty the Warren. So, you know, it is a very fragile combo deck, even though it is incredibly powerful, but it also has these ways of kind of bobbing and weaving around hate cards a little bit, which is pretty interesting, I think.
I've seen a lot of Belcher lists that don't even bother having a lot of sideboard options. I mean, they have the Burning Wish targets, but more or less, do they ever really dilute their main deck?
It's very, very rare.
Okay.
It's very rare.
Because it seems like you don't really want to... What would you want to bring in the Xanthic Swarms and Pyroblast for, really?
Yeah, you know, that's part of the reason I don't really like those cards very much. Xantid Swarm is pretty good against, like, a heavy counterspell deck that doesn't involve counterbalance, where you would side out your Taxian Probes and bring in your Xantid Swarms, but I find it hard to believe that you can afford to board in 4 Xantid Swarms and 4 Pyroblasts, dilute your deck a little bit, and still have the explosiveness. Your hands are going to look a little bit more awkward, and this isn't a deck that mulligans terribly well, so... You know, that's why I've never been too big of a fan of those cards. You know, the Burning Wish targets are what they are. They don't get used very often.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't really have the time to do it.
It seems like a lot of the games post-board rely on winning with Empty the Warrens as opposed to Goblin Charbelcher.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to sort of, you know, it's still, those types of hands are still vulnerable to permission, but at least you're able to sort of navigate through a little easier with the Storm Spell being your win.
And you see Leyline of Sanctity here from Huey on turn 1, along with the Lotus Petal and Pass. You see Anthony's hand, he has 2 Goblin Charbelchers and an Empty the Warrens here. You're also going to see a Gitaxian Probe. And Huey's going to see if that targets and if that's going to be able to happen. And he is going to take 2 to go down to 18.
And it looks like Anthony doesn't have enough mana this turn to cast the Empty the Warrens, but he did manage to draw a land grant, so... We'll see if that changes things. He might have gotten there, actually.
Yeah, so it looks like he has a starter now to get going, as he's going to reveal his hand here. You see a Simian Spirit Guide, 2 copies of Goblin Charbelcher, a Lion's Eye Diamond, Tinderwall, Pyretic Ritual, and Empty the Warrens, as he's going to write them down. Land Grant is going to be the starter for the first mana. Tinderwall is going to bring him up to 2. Pyretic Ritual is going to bring him up to 3.
And then Simian Spirit Guide for 4 if he wants to cast Empty the Warrens this turn. Which seems reasonable. Yeah,
and he can play a Lion's Eye Diamond as well to add to the Storm count. And with land, we're going to have Gitaxian Probe is spell 1, Land Grant is 2, Tinderwall is 3, Pyretic Ritual is 4, Simian Spirit Guide doesn't count. However, Lion's Eye Diamond will be 5, and Empty the Warrens will actually be number 6. So that'll be 12 guys and putting Huey on a 2-turn clock.
On turn 1. So,
yes.
Seems like a reasonable strategy.
Now, you know, it depends on if Huey does have a Force of Will in his hand, because Force of Will can actually break up him going off. When he does cast that Pyretic Ritual, he's going to Force of Will that, and then it'll break up him building the chain of mana.
Oh, definitely, but Anthony still probably has to go for it, correct? I mean, he's already committed 2 spells to the stack. Things aren't going to get better for him. And Huey's hands actually doesn't look that good. He only has a Lotus Petal in play. Looks like he missed his land drop, which he probably kept the hand because of Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah, he may have kept the hand with like Force of Will, blue card, Leyline of Sanctity to defend himself, and just figured, I'll draw lands eventually. It won't be a big deal.
Well, that's the thing. Hopefully, he kept the hand of Leyline of Sanctity and Force of Will, because you know, I don't care if I don't have any lands. If I have both my hate cards for this matchup, I should be in good shape. But if he kept it just for the Leyline of Sanctity, he's pretty soft to Empty the Warrens right here. So we'll see what Anthony ends up doing.
All right. Well, either way, he is going to move in here, as you do see Taiga come into play. Here comes your Tinderwall. So he's going to put his Storm count up there, and it looks like it is going to be a Storm of 6 at the end of the day here.
And again, Huey doesn't need to. Huey just needs to counter the Pyretic Ritual.
Yep. That'll break up the.
He in fact does have a Force of Will.
That will break up the flow of mana. You see Tinderwall get sacrificed here. You're going to see Pyretic Ritual go on the stack in just a moment. And this is going to be the important parts.
Looks like he's paying
Huey,
one.
it looks like he is paying a life here immediately. Are we right? I see Force of Will removing a Spell Pierce. So that's going to get it done. That breaks up the mana.
Yeah, so Anthony's in a pretty tough spot right now. He could still draw, a couple of a runner ritual to get the Charbelcher in play, but he still has to deal with the ley line. So
at this point, it's mostly going to be based around. You see Lion's Eye Diamonds, the draw step here, a pretty bad one. It's mostly going to be based around empty the warrens again, but at this point, it seems like it's going to be probably too slow. Huey will draw lands eventually, we'd like to think.
And he's got the sneak attack. He's got at least a Grizzlebrand, so again, not in bad shape. And Anthony drew a dead Land Grant right now, so it'll feel a storm count, but he can't actually generate any more mana with it.
Let me tell you how that feels. It's absolutely horrible.
And Huey drew another Force of Will just in case. So.
Yeah.
Things, despite the fact that Huey's missing all his land drops, things not that bad for him right now.
And Anthony draws a Simian Spirit Guide. Again, the Spirit Guides are very crucial to this deck being able to go off on turn 1, but they don't add to the spell count for Empty the Warrens. And Goblin Charbelcher is turned off right now because of Leon's Sanctity. Huey draws a card and it's another Lotus Petal. So still looking for the first actual land from Huey.
Yeah, a Burning Wish would be a good draw here. Oh, Sneak of the Devil.
Future again?
Yeah. If he wants, he can generate enough mana now to actually cast an Empty the Warrens from his sideboard if he chooses to.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have enough of that because of Lion's Eye.
It's not going to be a huge Empty the Warrens because he's pitching 2 Semi-Spirit Guides, but still, with Huey having no mana, with no lands in play, he might want to just try to go for it again. Thankfully, though, Huey does have another Force of Will.
It actually won't be the worst Empty the Warrens I've ever seen either, because the land grant's going to add to the count, as will the Lion's Eye Diamond. As you see, land grant here is going to reveal that the jig is kind of up.
Yeah.
The Spirit Guides, of course, won't add, but it would be an Empty the Warrens for 8.
Yeah. So yeah.
Goblins.
Again, not bad, especially considering Huey has nothing in play.
Yeah.
But like we saw, Huey did appear to draw a Force of Will. Assuming he has another blue card to pitch to it, he should be okay. He's just going to need to counter the Burning Wish, basically. Yeah. The question is, what is the blue card he could have in his hand? You would think that maybe he would have cast a Brainstorm or a Ponder or a Preordain with that Lotus Petal. Could be Show and Tell.
Yeah, could just have Show and Tell straight up.
Could be Misdirection. He's a number of Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. You think he might crack the Lotus Petal to go for it, but yeah, it is possible he might not have it. I mean, we know he has a Grizzlebrand and a Sneak Attack, which don't really help him here. But it does look like he has a Spell Pierce. So.
Yeah, he's also sandbagging the Lotus Petal in his hand as well right now. And you're going to see Anthony is going to remove these 2 Spirit Guides here. He's going to use the Burning Wish interaction with Lion's Eye Diamond. Put the Burning Wish on the stack, sacrifice the Lion's Eye Diamond with the Burning Wish on the stack to be able to generate the mana. And he probably, depending on how much mana he has floating, he's going to have to lose his hand here.
Is that what he's doing though? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, actually.
It'd be interesting to see why he would cast the land grant first if he's just planning to go for it. Okay, so yeah, that is in fact what he's planning.
Well, see, here's the thing. Well, the Burning Wish was on the stack there, and it looks like Huey kind of pointed at him like, yeah, that's fine. And then he said, all right, I'm going to sacrifice his 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds, and you can't do it that way.
Yeah.
You have to sacrifice them preemptively to be able to actually have the mana through the Burning Wish. And now you see the Lion's Eye Diamond is actually still on the table. I think Huey explained that to him, that you actually sequenced this incorrectly.
I probably would have let him take it back and, made him just lose his hand. Because if Huey just lets him make that play, he basically has just a Taiga in play and nothing else, correct?
Yeah, it would be a Taiga in play and nothing else. As you see, he's going to search for a Hull Breach here with the Burning Wish.
Yeah, so I think Huey might have just said, "Oh yeah, no, I know what you're meant to do. Go ahead, go for it." No.
And so now we'll bring up Hull Breach on the screen for you guys as well. It's a I'm going to go with Plane Shift Common.
Yeah, I think it might be an uncommon.
It might be an uncommon.
Yeah.
But it destroys an artifact, it destroys an enchantment, or it can destroy both.
Oh, common. Very good artwork too. Looks like an anime.
It's a ship.
And can actually take out that Lotus Petal and that Ley Line.
Yeah.
If he draws another Semi-Spirit Guide, perhaps, or a Lotus Petal. Mm-hmm. So, we could be seeing Ley Line go away here.
If he's willing to pull the trigger on the Hull Breach. All right.
And again, this is one of those dangerous situations where Huey can't really let this resolve, because if he does try to cast Show and Tell, Anthony does have, oh wow, so Anthony does have 2 Lotus Blooms in play. So Huey basically says, okay, I can't win with Show and Tell now because I know he has a Charbelcher in his hand.
Yeah.
And I have no more Leyline protection from it, so he's going to have to go for the sneak attack win, which I believe he has one in his hand, so not the worst thing in the world.
You know, the thing, obviously Huey, a very, very good Magic player. You just wonder if he's ever seen this interaction before where if he casts the Show and Tell right now, he's actually going to kill himself. And you do see him.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't go for it, so I'd imagine he kind of suspects what's going to happen.
I've seen some people who don't know that interaction. Not surprised that a future Hall of Famer probably does, though.
So we just need like a Scalding Tarn right here, or a Volcanic Island, and Huey will be set up to win the following turn.
And Huey just does discard a Gristlebrand. Just going to play a little bit of draw go. Anthony has to do a lot of work to rebuild his hand here. As he does draw Burning Wish, he just needs to draw a ton of rituals that are actually spells. He needs to just run some of those off here.
Yeah, Huey does have 19 lands, getting a little unlucky not drawing a second land here, but
As you do see a Ponder there at the draw for Huey.
Yeah, but he can't.
Gristlebrand and says go.
Because his one land in play is a City of Traders, he doesn't really want to crack at the Lotus Blend because he won't have enough mana to actually cast a sneak attack. So that Hull Breach actually was fairly annoying. Might have wanted to just counter it. He would have still had the second Lotus Petal in play and the Leyline, so maybe he regrets a little bit not countering that Hull Breach.
Yeah,
would have made this game go a little bit easier for him. But
definitely possible. So you see Anthony kind of looking at his cards, taking a look at his rituals, figuring out what he can do here. As the Belchers in his hand have been turned on now. You see a Lotus Petal, the first card in his hand. You see a Rite of Flame far in the back, and after a little while, he does just pass the turn back. Huey
all right, here we go.
Adds 2 mana, going to play a Misty Rainforest, finally draws a land, and it looks like he's going to search up a Volcanic Island here almost immediately, get himself some red mana so he can cast this sneak attack and get this show on the road.
Yeah, and actually just activate it next turn.
Yeah.
Because all he'll be able to do is cast it this turn.
Yep.
But next turn, a Macro will show up to the party, and Emrakul will show up, and things will go.
So there's a sneak attack from Huey, and he does just pass the turn back. Anthony going to take a draw step, draws another Rite of Flame.
All right,
here.
so he can actually cast the Charbelcher. Let's see, Huey, of course, has the Force of Will, so see if he goes for the Empty the Warrens here.
And you see a Rite of Flame number 1 here from Anthony. Huey checks the graveyard, see if there's any more in there. There aren't currently, but we do know that Anthony has the second one in his hand. And there it is. So he's going to push him up to a little bit more red, a little bit more storm count. In his hand of Burning Wish, double Charbelcher, and Empty the Warrens.
So, let's see. All right,
there's
so
your
he goes
Charbelcher. And here comes your Force of Will from Huey. Removing Show and Tell, correctly identifying that this is a card I cannot cast right now, as it'll actually just kill me.
And, wow, honestly, if he managed to draw a third right, he'd still be able to win, despite how good Huey's draw has been this game.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Kind of crazy how resilient that deck actually is. But,
you do see a sneak attack activation here. Gristlebrand's going to come in. Huey's going to draw 7 cards right away. As he does have an Emrakul in his hand as well. He's just looking for another red source of mana between a fetch land, Volcanic Island, Scalding Tarn, any of those things. And there it is. He's going to pay life, push himself down to 9, search for a red source of mana, be able to activate that sneak attack again, put that Emrakul into play, and send this game to the showers.
I'm going to say, looked a little, I mean, granted, Huey stalled on mana for about 30 turns. But,
approximately.
Looked a little scary there for a while, but it looks like Huey brought in the Echoing Truth too, which actually is a great answer to the Empty the Warrens plan.
Yeah.
So,
Also, there are times as well where the Belcher deck does just have to play a naked Belcher and just hope the top deck, Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, what have you.
Yeah.
So that does happen on occasion as well.
So it looks like we're going to game 3 here. Anthony again gets to be on the play. Possibility of turn 1 kill. You never know. But
possibility. That's what the deck's meant to do.
I think Huey's going to mulligan pretty aggressively, though. I don't think Huey's going to let himself be in a too vulnerable position. I think with 4 Force of Will and 4 Leyline of Sanctity, he might just say, I'm going to mulligan to one of those cards. Might even go down to 5. The deck mulligans pretty well with Brainstorm and Ponder, so might be willing to risk it, go to 5 if it's a marginal hand, because a play of like turn 2 show and tell on the draw might not just be good enough.
Yeah.
So Huey's good enough to know what he needs to do in order to how aggressive he needs to be in this type of matchup. So
he's got plenty of cards that he can mulligan for here as well.
Yeah.
He has Echoing Truth, he has Force of Will, and he does have the Leyline of Sanctity. So plenty of cards that he's looking for in his opening hand that are a big deal. First and foremost is Force of Will, but he can reasonably keep a hand with Leyline of Sanctity and hope that his opponent is on the Charbelcher kill and not the Empty the Warrens kill. And if the opponent is on the Empty the Warrens kill, he certainly has some redraws available. So
if you had a hand of like Brainstorm, Show and Tell, Emrakul, and like 4 lands,
I couldn't mulligan faster.
You would mulligan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
assume one of those lands was City Trader. Wouldn't change your mind?
No. Being on the opposite side of playing Charbelcher a ton, I played the deck for over a year. I hope people keep hands like that against me, and they just go, I sure hope you don't kill me on turn 1. But that's what the deck's designed to do.
Again, you can't hope.
Yeah.
You can't hope. You gotta play like they have it, or at least reasonably. I mean, I think it's reasonable to assume that a turn 2 show and tell probably isn't good enough against a deck that can kill me on turn 1.
Yeah.
Because you cast show and tell, you're still giving them a 3rd turn, and in 3 turns, undisrupted is a lifetime for a deck like Belcher.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely can see Huey being pretty aggressive with his mulligans. Game 1, he doesn't know what it's only round 3.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't know what his opponent's playing, so that's why you saw him lose turn 1.
That's how we catch him.
Yeah.
That's right.
But once Huey knows what the jig is, he's not going to let something like that happen again. There's a little smirk on Huey's face. I'm not sure if that means my hand is great or I'm shipping him back.
I think that's a snap keep.
Snap keep? It looks like a snap keep.
Yeah,
that is hilarious. That's a snap keep.
Yeah, absolutely. Lion's Eye Diamond here from Anthony. You're going to see a Lotus Petal as well. So Anthony has a snap keep as well, it looks like.
Yeah.
Storm count's moving up here as we begin game 3.
Ooh,
Lotus Petal number 2.
Looks like we're going to get the Empty the Warrens planned. And it can be turn 1 Empty the Warrens again.
Yeah. You see him setting it up here. Now, see, this is where things get a little bit interesting because he doesn't have to land grant this game to do any of this. He's going to cast a Tinderwall.
And this is also tricky because he has both the Burning Wish and the Empty the Warrens.
Yep.
So Huey might not know what to Force of Will here. Anthony might not be. Yeah, he's just going to go for the Empty the Warrens here, saying that 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 guys is good enough on turn 1.
Yeah. Can't Force of Will this, man.
Yeah, so even if Huey has the Force of Will, maybe he wasn't sure which to Force of Will yet. Maybe he thought he was going for the Belcher plan. So yeah, it's definitely makes it tough to play against, even if you have the Force of Will.
Yep.
Because you're never quite sure what could be the right card there.
Can you reasonably, can you justify Force of Willing a Lotus Petal?
Yeah, it's tough. You always assume you're going to have 1 extra turn, but Anthony makes 10 goblins on turn 1, despite the fact that Huey was able to go turn 0 Leyline, but he has basically 2 turns to draw an answer.
And Huey may even have Force of Will in his hand.
Yeah,
we don't know that. And Anthony just casts a Tinderwall, and pretty hard to reason countering Tinderwall. And he's just like, all right, remove Seeming Spirit Guide, cast my Empty the Warrens for 10, and go ahead. It's just really difficult to figure out which to break up, especially when you don't have land grant providing the information on how the opponent's going to go off.
Yeah, I don't think Huey had the force of will. I think Huey's pretty good. He would have read the situation correctly. But again, in general, in that type of situation, it is tough for the blue player to kind of figure out what you have to do there.
Now the big question here is does he have an Echoing Truth? As you do see a Ponder here from Huey to start the turn.
And unfortunately for Huey, he doesn't have 3 Echoing Truths. So going like City Trader's Lotus Petal Intuition for Echoing Truth on turn 1 isn't even an option, and he's not going to have time to set that up anyway for turn 2 because he's taking 10 next turn and then another 10. So not many options here for Huey. It looks like with the shuffle, he's basically just digging for, I guess, turn 2 Show and Tell Grizzlebrand.
That will do it.
Wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, that will actually do it. That'll counteract those goblins because of lifelink. So, if he does have a double land or a land plus a Lotus Petal, as he does draw a Force of Will off of that Ponder, you see the 10 goblins coming across are going to knock Huey down to 9. We're going to take a draw step here.
He has a Grizzlebrand, but I'm not sure he has the double land or Show and Tell.
Or Show and Tell, yeah.
Maybe, does he have the Echoing Truth, maybe?
I can't get a good look.
Maybe he might not have a second land, even.
Uh-oh.
Because, one land Ponder Leyline's not that bad in this matchup,
You're going to see a main phase Brainstorm.
I can see him wanting to keep that kind of hand. Oh, yeah, he's definitely taking At this point, he's probably hoping for a Lotus Petal. Oh, I see a Show and Tell.
I do see a Show and Tell.
I know he's got a Show and Tell Grizzlebrand. Was that a Lotus Petal?
I think that's
at
the City Traders.
Oh,
no.
Did he actually get there? He did get there. He's got. I saw a Show and Tell, a Grizzlebrand, a City Traders, and a Lotus Petal. That is exactly what he needed.
I think I saw all of those cards.
I saw those cards. He needed all 3. That 3 combination of cards he needed. I don't know if he got all 3 off of the Brainstorm, but he certainly needed that combination in order to survive.
Here's your City of Traders. Here's your Lotus Petal. Here's your Show and Tell.
Wow.
And here's your Grizzlebrand.
Wow. That is something.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he did not start the turn with all of those cards.
He didn't seem like he was too excited, yeah.
He also put the Brainstorm down in such a way that he had to sweat it out, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just ripped like a champ right there.
Hey. Whatever it takes.
Hey, you don't win a Pro Tour by not being lucky.
That's true. So now Anthony is basically seeing now that here's the problem is that there aren't any good attacks, but not attacking isn't good either.
Yeah.
If you don't attack, then Grizzlebrand's going to attack you.
So he attacks with 10 goblins. Grizzlebrand eats one of the goblins, and 9 come through. Unfortunately, the way the rules work, the lifelink will happen at the same time. So Huey will gain life. He'll gain 7 life going up to 16, taking 9 going down to 7. And Huey can then just attack for 7, go up to 14 if he wants.
Then he's sitting pretty.
And then he'll take 9, drop to 5, attack for 7, go to 12, take 9, go to 3, and then attack for the final 7 to kill Anthony. So could be a pretty straightforward next 3 turns unless anything crazy happens on Anthony's side of the board.
This attack is essentially a fog. Huey's going to draw a card. We'll see if maybe there's. So he would go up to.
Right now,
up to 16 and then take 9. So he should be at 7. Right?
He's at 7.
Yeah.
If he decides to attack, he'll go up to 14.
Gotcha.
And then he'll take 9 from the attack, dropping to 5.
Gotcha.
But he's ahead of the race because of that 7-point swing every turn. So looks like that's what his plan is. He did the math. He knows what's up. He's got a Force of Will to protect from any sort of other shenanigans. He's still got the ley line out there. I'm not quite sure. Anthony might be able to draw another. He's got a right now, which is kind of good. He's got a Burning Wish, so he could make more goblins to sort of swing the race back in his favor.
And he also does have a card that a lot of people don't know about in Goblin War Strike. The common from Scourge, which deals 1 damage to. It deals damage equal number of goblins you control target player. So if he was able to resolve that through this entire ordeal, then that would finish it. That would actually finish Huey off because he deals him 7 right now. He actually deals him 9 right now to put Huey down to 5, and then Warstrike would kill him. But we know that Huey has a force of will, so just gonna pass the turn back. Here comes the Gristlebrand yet again.
And yeah, again, the force
So
of will.
Huey should be at 12 now.
Yeah.
And it goes down to 5 up to 12.
So one more attack with the Gristlebrand will actually end it.
Yep.
So he can go down to 3. He still has 1 life to work with the force of will. So looks like he should be able to win this game, even like
And
you
actually,
said.
I bring up Goblin Warstrike. That doesn't even do anything because of the Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah.
That's a blank card, so that actually doesn't matter at all.
So yeah, again, it's too. At this point, it's too late for the Empty the Warrens plan to try to get a second Empty the Warrens
Yeah.
going. He needed to do that last turn in order to have a chance. But yep, there's the hand.
Gristlebrand's a good Magic card.
Gristlebrand is pretty good.
Oh.
And Huey, a very fortunate brainstorm there. Drew the perfect combination of cards to help him survive, and not only survive, but win that game. So pretty impressive.
So Huey Jensen's going to move on to 3-0, playing Sneak and Show this weekend. Anthony Bubb, I mean, good games, all things considered. Turn 1, kill game 1. Turn 3, starts with 10 Goblins on turn 1 on the play, but fortunate brainstorm there from Huey.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Closes the door, gets able to get